CT scans reveal Pompeii victims' final seconds. It starts like any sun-washed summer morning in Pompeii. Vendors shout prices, bronze fountains gurgle cool water, and somewhere in the distance a dog barks, lazy and half asleep. Then, a sound no Roman had words for, Vesuvius breathes in. A dull, guttural boom rattles shutters. In the next 0.8 seconds, one 22-year-old Roman will be boiled alive, flash frozen in ash, and become the best-preserved death scene in human history. Today, with hospital-grade CT scans, we can replay his final heartbeat, frame by frame. Stay with me, because before the 3-minute mark, you'll see the instant his brain turns to glass, an image so rare, most archaeologists will never witness it in person. Quiet before the doom. Let's rewind 6 hours. It is August 24th, 79 AD. Yes, some scholars argue for an October date. Either way, late Roman summer feels blisteringly hot. Inside the Garden of the Fugitives, grapevines sag with fruit, and our young man, probably a household slave, has dawn chores. Sweep pumice dust off a stone path, fetch figs for the noon meal, mind the master's children. Overnight, small tremors cracked clay pots, but in a region used to earthquakes, nobody panics. At 1 p.m., the mountain's summit explodes. A column of ash towers 20 kilometers high. Molten rock pellets, pumice, begin pelting rooftops. Imagine duck egg-sized stones hammering tiles every second for hours. Some families flee south. Others, like his, shelter in wine cellars and wait it out. They believe the worst is over by nightfall. They are tragically wrong. Surge in the dark. Near dawn, the real killer forms. A pyroclastic surge. A rolling cloud of superheated gas, ash, and volcanic glass, hotter than a blast furnace, faster than a racing motorbike. It travels a straight line down the mountain flank at approximately 200 kilometers per hour. The surge strips olive trees bare, vaporizes livestock, and snaps marble statues like breadsticks. Our victim steps outside, maybe to clear the courtyard, maybe to spy on the glowing summit. 9 kilometers is breathing distance for a surge. He hears a distant locomotive roar, then wind that feels wrong, too hot, too heavy. He turns, runs 3 steps, and time effectively stops. Why new tech was needed, fast forward 18 centuries, 1863. Giuseppe Fiorelli drills holes into hardened ash, pours liquid plaster, waits for the cavity of a dissolved body to fill, then chisels away the rock shell. What emerges is haunting, white statues mid-scream. But Fiorelli's plaster also dissolves fragile bone, erasing microscopic evidence forever. Enter 21st century computed tomography. We slide Fiorelli's cast, catalog number Guard 41, into a scanner tuned to 0.3 millimeters per voxel. Suddenly, the plaster becomes glass. Every ligament and bronze fibula pin pops into view. What you're about to see could never be found with scalpels or chisels. First forensic clue: the broken rib. Freeze the axial slice. There. Rib 4. Fractured at a 40-degree shear. Not a fall, not a blow. Only a pressure wave. Dense, scorching air hitting 150 kilometers per hour. Snaps bone like that. Computer fluid dynamics back-calculate exposure. The wave lands 0.2 seconds before the hot ash. That gap is the difference between a livid bruise and a fatal organ blowout. Fire you can't outrun. Glass dust in lungs. Move to the lungs. Black pepper speckles cluster in the bronchi. SAM analysis shows they are volcanic glass shards, needle-sharp silica cooled in midair. Their chemical signature, amorphous SiO2 with nanoscopic bubble voids, forms only above 800 degrees Celsius. Translation? He was still inhaling when the surge hit. Glass dust slices alveoli, superheated steam follows, blood vaporizes. death now counts in milliseconds. The brain melt, rarest autopsy slide. But nothing is as chilling as what hides inside the skull. Ferric oxide crystals line the cranial vault like crimson frost. They appear only if brain tissue touches 500 degrees Celsius plus. His gray matter liquefied, then vitrified, turning into a natural glass slide in less than 30 milliseconds. Under a scanning electron microscope, neurons stretch and snap like sugar strands in heated candy. This phenomenon is so rare, archaeologists have documented it fewer than 20 times worldwide. Right now, you are staring at perhaps the best example on Earth. Why he looks so calm, zoom out. Body posture shows knees tucked, arms gently folded over the face, spine bowed. Why no desperate scramble? Micro-abrasions on both kneecaps tell us he had knelt moments earlier, likely sweeping ash off grape trellises. He never saw the pressure wave hiding behind that gentle snowfall. He died before fear could fully register. Stick around. The object in his clenched hand will deepen the mystery. Picture late twilight turning sepia. Ash falls like dry snow, muffling sound. A sudden silence so complete, you hear your own pulse. Then, whoomp, a balcony above collapses, throwing hot dust over him. He bolts 3 steps, slips, kneels to cough, perhaps reaches for a child. The surge arrives with hurricane force and sauna heat. Skin flash dries, inner organs boil, outer flesh carbonizes. But the ash around him hardens into an airtight sarcophagus. Paradoxically, that shell is why his body and his story survives. The ring he couldn't let go, keep focus on the fist. Inside sits a copper alloy ring carved with a leaping dolphin, Roman emblem of safe passage, and the god Neptune. Historians debate: slave token, lover's keepsake, dowry deposit. Copper analysis shows high tin content, typical of cheap jewelry sold to servants. Yet to him, it meant everything. Even in death, the tendons shrank around that ring, preserving his final choice: hope over despair. Secondary discoveries: hidden scars, hidden lives. CT segmentation reveals healed microfractures in the ulna, evidence of chronic load-bearing, maybe winepress labor. Isotope readings of tooth enamel show he grew up inland, 150 kilometers north, then was sold south to Pompeii. Thus, a nameless migrant laborer becomes the unwitting messenger who bridges Roman slavery, volcanology, and modern risk management. Turning tragedy into data, every voxel feeds Eurovolc hazard models. By matching bone char temperatures, lung glass densities, and ash granulometry, scientists refined citywide evacuation algorithms. Result? Naples now has a 30-minute hard trigger. If sensors detect surge conditions matching Pompeii's, alarms blare and highways convert to one-way escape corridors. Our victim's autopsy quite literally writes modern civil protection code, AI and the future of dead science. Radiologist Francesca Spatafora explains. With AI deep learning, we're separating plaster artifacts from organic residues. Next year, we'll likely reconstruct blood-type markers, maybe even gut microbiome DNA. Imagine a Pompeian menu inferred from isotopes in stomach ash, stress hormones frozen mid-panic. Each cast becomes a forensic dataset and a time capsule. Cost of early methods, losses. We can't reverse Fiorelli's plaster, once hailed as genius, now dissolves calcium phosphate. Dozens of casts already show internal decay, ribs collapsing like wet paper. Conservators debate 3D printing polymer shells, scanning originals, then sealing them forever in nitrogen vaults. A strange irony. To save history, we must sometimes entomb it anew. Pompeii as prophecy. Not just past 75 eruptions have hit Vesuvius in recorded history, the last in 1944, a modest blast that still leveled villages. 3 million people now live within the kill radius. cargo ports, gas pipelines, NATO bases. None existed in 79 AD. Our young Roman's silent warning grows louder each year. Volcanoes don't negotiate, they detonate. Emotional closure. A heartbeat unfrozen. So next time you stroll the garden of the fugitives, remember rib 4 snapping, brain vitrifying, fingers clenching a dolphin ring. The heartbeat inside that cast still echoes, amplified by every megabyte of scan data. He did not die in vain. He funds our knowledge, our safety, our awe. You and I are the custodians of his story, and maybe the beneficiaries of his last breath. Vesuvius has slumbered since 1944. Statistically, the next major eruption is a question of when, not if. Will humanity be faster than 0.8 seconds? If you found meaning in one slave's frozen heartbeat, imagine what secrets lie inside the oldest Viking genome ever sequenced, a discovery that rewrites early medieval history. Tap subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss it. Full CT dataset, peer-reviewed DOI, and high-resolution images are linked below. Thanks for watching, and remember, the past isn't buried. It's waiting for us to scan it before the next ash cloud rolls.